Master, I don't want to do this, Caster. I really don't want to do this review. Master, think of it like this. The sooner you get this over, the sooner you can move on to the next book. God, oh my god, I really don't want to do this review. Heyo, my name is Sarah, and today's book review is on The Selection by Kiera Cass. First book in the Selection series. Oh god, this book. Non-spoilers. Congratulations, Selection! You're the very first book to get a 1 out of 5 stars. I am going to admit, I've always wanted to read this book when I was in high school because there was so much hype about it, and the hype has returned, and you know what? I decided, hey, the pretty girl with the pretty dress on the cover, and I think I'm going to finally read it. I've always had it, and I think I want to see what the hype is about. Oh, this book tested my sanity. So we're in a world, a dystopian world I assume, with a caste system and a royal family, and whenever there's a crown prince, there's what's called the selection, where 35 girls are gathered and live television bachelorette kind of thing happens to see if the prince chooses one girl to become his wife. And we have America Singer, whose name is pulled from this lottery, and she has a chance to becoming a princess. Yay! I had so many problems with this book. One being the world building, where I'm pretty sure I could have taken this nation in a week tops. I did not like America. She was annoying, and at times, I don't know, between either jealous or just selfish. I don't know. I didn't like her. The prince, Maxon, he was a little okay. He wasn't bad. I have to say, the one character I did not mind was Maxon. And of course, this came out during, I guess, the Hunger Game era. We have to have a love triangle, and I did not see the reason for one. So we have Aspen, who's a childhood friend of America, and she loves him, but things go awry and doesn't turn out so well, and now we got the love triangle going on and everything, and practically nothing happened in this book, and it was just, oh my god. There were times where I was walking up a mountain with a boulder, but two, because again, this book tested my sanity. So yeah, that's as far as I can get into non-spoilers. Only one character was workable with. I could deal with that one character, but the main character, I did not like her. I did not like this so-called love triangle thing or whatever. I was very, very cautious about her love interest with Aspen. This country, this caste system, I don't even know why there's this caste system. It doesn't make sense. And this country, again, if you give me the resources, I can take it out in a week tops. But either way, that's the end of my non-spoilers. The Selection by Kiera Cass. 1 out of 5 stars, people. Bye, non-spoilers! Spoilers. So there's a caste system, as I said, and America is a 5, and there's like 8 caste numbers and everything. And it's all based on your grandparents or your great-grandparents or something. So whatever their career was, that becomes your career. So that's kind of a little complicated if you want to be something else. I don't know. And this world takes place in the remnants of America, named by the country, I guess, Ilya. That's how I kept pronouncing it in my head, Ilya. And my main question is like, how old is this country? Is it like maybe, I don't know, 20, 50 years old, 100, that wasn't specified. And of course, this country is ruled by a monarchy, and the crown prince is now, I guess, coming of age, and he needs to find a wife, which means that they begin the selection process where they put their names in and they get selected, and the 35 girls go to live at the palace to be, I guess you could say, reality TV show filmed there, and see who has the possibility of becoming the future wife. That was gripe number 1. I could totally see this happening if the prince was the 3rd or 4th born, because if it's the crown prince, the best thing to do for your nation is to come up with a political marriage between him and another princess of another country, because apparently there's other countries like New Asia and Sweden, I don't know, or have him become Prince Regent to a queen in another nation, you know, just to strengthen your ties and make sure you have no enemies coming after you. But hey, no, we gotta make this a bachelorette kind of thing. Moving on. So America, she's not like other girls because all the girls, they have an opportunity to, you know, put their name in to become part of the selection. Well, America doesn't want that because she already has her eyes on someone else. But you know what? Her mom wants her to enter the selection because her mom wants her to move up in the cast society, which is possible. It's just like a lot of legal processing in a way. Again, with not much explanation of this world, I don't understand the laws of this world because I think I only got like 2 laws out of this whole book. But it's her mom that wants her to enter the selection. But then we find out Aspen, America's love interest, who's a 6, so a servant class, meaning he's a class below, and that's like a no-go in the eyes of her mother. But either way, they are in love. But Aspen wants America to enter in the selection. Either way, you know, it could be good for her. He's kind of encouraging for his twin sisters to do it. But it's like, America, she's like, I love Aspen. I want to marry Aspen. I'll be the perfect wife for Aspen. She's known this guy for 2 years. And she's like, he's the one. I want to marry Aspen. I want to be his wife. I want to be Mrs. Aspen. America, you're 16. You have your entire life to figure out who you want to marry. Date other guys. You are still 16. Go to college. I don't know. Do something with your life before you realize, hey, this is the guy I want to marry. But because, you know, America loves Aspen so much, and he said, you know, it could be good for you if you entered in the selection. You know what she does? She's like, okay, if Aspen asks or suggests that I sign into the selection, you know, there's more than likely chance I'm never gonna get picked, so I'll do it either way. Well, she decides to go do that. Even the next morning, her mom decides to bribe her, which, okay, mother, you know how to work my weak spots and everything, because America performs with her mom mostly whenever they get called to do gigs. Her dad, her sister May, they're more of the artists, so like painters and sculptors, while America and her mom are more the performers, the singers, the musicians. And she does have a younger brother who I question about this cast system. Okay. First, going on, the brother, he hasn't really found his affinity for music or arts yet. He wants to do more sports kind of ways. So America says you still have time to figure this out. So for this caste system, I was kind of really confused how this works, because first of all, we have that, but apparently you can marry above your caste number, but that's like a lot of whole legal processing where like takes like a year, and they're like, are you sure you want to do this? But the only way how you can tell what your caste is by clothing, and not by very distinctive colors, but something that I can easily go to a thrift store and find and get away with being a 3 or a 2. And there's no really big enforcement on separating the castes or anything. So you're mingling around with other 6s, 3s, 4s, and the 5s and all that stuff. It sounds like a big regular community. The only way how you can tell is like if you introduce yourself, I guess, as the number you are, or by the faint colors that you wear. I don't know. That was very confusing about this system. I have no clue why they needed a caste in this book series, but again, it's Hunger Games era, so we're just gonna roll with it. Another big question about this book was like there was a 4th World War, and for a little bit I was like, wait, what happened to World War III? We get an answer about that later on in the book, which is still okay. But we have a Caesar Flickerman ripoff named Gavril who runs like the Ilya Report. So I was kind of concerned about this world, because America does say that there are other channels, but not many people can afford it, so they all get the same one channel that everybody watches. So I'm thinking, one channel for each household, unless you really want to spend mega bucks on getting other channels. Concerning. But either way, that's where they see the glorious king and queen and the crown prince, and he gives a marvelous Q&A, and we're once again reminded, ladies, by the end of the week the 35 girls for the selection will be selected. Yay! And I do not feel comfortable with this relationship between America and Aspen, because again, there's a curfew, so if you're caught outside breaking in the night breaking the law, then you get arrested or whatever. But they go to the treehouse in America's backyard, and that's where Aspen and America meet up and everything. And they're talking, and I read this and I'm like, I don't feel comfortable with this relationship. I have so much to tell you, Aspen. Shh, don't say a word. If anyone hears, there'll be hell to pay. Just let me look at you. And so I obeyed. I stayed there quiet and still while Aspen stared into my eyes. And so I obeyed. Flag. I don't like this relationship. It's a small thing. I'm probably nitpicking, but when I read that, and so I obeyed, the only reason why America entered into the selection was because Aspen was the one that had said, hey, maybe you should enter in the selection. Nothing bad could happen. I mean, I'm encouraging my sisters to do it. I mean, in a way, if you do enter the selection and the girl of that family gets picked, then they do rise in caste system. So that's also a good motivator. But he was the one that suggested or said you should enter in. And she's like, okay, I'll do it. And then she says, and so I obey. I don't like this relationship. And again, what's so wrong about waiting to do the tango? Because same page. Aspen's lips finally slowed, though I was nowhere near ready to stop. But we had to be smart. If we went any further and there was evidence of it, we'd both be thrown in jail. Another reason everyone married young. Waiting is torture. You're 16. You're 16 and you already have this on your mind? You want to do the tango. And there's a law against doing the tango until you're married. I can see why, but America, is there a problem of waiting? I'm just saying. And we're like still page in the 50-page area, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, there's a reason why I don't like this relationship. I don't like America in this relationship because it's like the night before they announce who is part of the selection, and America, she had earned a lot of money because her mom with the bribe said that, you know, you can keep most of the share now because you're old enough and you can manage your own money. Well, America goes to make this huge buffet for Aspen. He gets really mad that she spent all this money on him because he's supposed to be the one to provide her with all this stuff. Okay, mindset. Okay, I'm able to work with that one. But then I realized that Aspen has a little bit more character because he has a feeling that he might be drafted. And he doesn't want America to marry him, go through the whole legal process and actually marry him and bring down not only a caste, but possibly become a widow. And so I'm like, okay, logic is sound. I can work with that. But you know what America does after they have their big tiff? They're watching the news and this happens. I pushed on to Friday, hoping that everything would go back to normal after the Capitol report broadcast the names. I dreamed it up in my head, how they would announce Celia and Camber, his sisters, and my mother would be disappointed, but not as disappointed as she would have been if it was a stranger. Dad and May would be excited for them. Our families were close. I knew Aspen had to be thinking about me like I've been thinking about him. I bet he'd be over here before the program was over, begging me for forgiveness and asking for my hand. It would be a little premature since there's nothing guaranteed for the girls, but he could capitalize on the general excitement of the day. It would probably smooth a lot of things over. So you think that if his sisters get selected, he would be coming over and begging for forgiveness, even though he had a sound and logical reason as to ending things with you? America? I'm starting to feel this relationship is very one-sided, and I'm still not comfortable with it. I don't like this relationship, but now I can see Aspen speaking to the adults about this. So, okay, Aspen, you have 1 point in your corner. Now, when Gabrielle announces America's name, she thinks that her world is ending, but everyone is so happy. And she gets, people to come over, talk her through the process of what to expect. And she gets bumped up to a cast 3. And they're like, I thought it would be like maybe a 4 or something. But no, they're bumped all the way to 3s. Plus paychecks. Yay. Family doesn't have to struggle as much right now. And as the story progresses, which it slowly does. Because I mean, like, we're like literally on page 70 or something. And this is driving me insane. Caster, don't give me your little snide remarks. We're on page 70-ish. Master, I didn't say anything. And I wasn't thinking of any snide remarks. yet. And everyone's there to, you know, bid America farewell and everything. And this is where I'm like thinking, is she just jealous or selfish when she sees Aspen with another girl? Because yes, she sees him in the crowd and he's with another girl with his arm around her waist. And I'm like thinking, oh my god, this is going to be the biggest miscommunication ever, because I have a feeling, which I was right later on, that this girl could have just tripped and he caught her. But America is like, oh my god, he already moved on to another girl. Was I just the side person that he went to because I would feed him and everything? He just tolerate me? Oh my god, Aspen, I am so hurt. Betrayal, I'm not even gonna look at you. Whatever, girl, just go. Because apparently it was a giant case of miscommunication and that girl just did trip. This world gets a little more confusing for me because America, she meets some girls, Marley, and I think her name is Ashley. And when we see Ashley, America's like, aren't you from the north? And she's like, yes, I am. Ashley was a pretty chill girl. Anyways, we're in America, right? So what do you mean by the north? Canada? Or other states? If there were, could you have like listed something? Because when you say north, I'm like beyond the wall. In Canada, I think the word was capitalized. So is this a territory that Ilya hasn't conquered it? I don't know, but this was the beginning of me questioning a lot about this world. We also meet a mean girl named Celeste, so I'm guessing she is the antagonist to America and everything. I don't know, just a typical mean girl person with no real character, just the motive of winning. I'm just going along with it. We end up in this city where the royal family lives, and everyone's there to greet the selected, and we have a whole Hunger Games beauty fashion moment going on for real. And when the girls, you know, arrive there, they're getting their photo ops and everything. America wanted to be as simple as anything because she just wants to be herself. Are you telling me, because we found out that when all the girls arrived, are you telling me only one girl, America, was the only one that engaged with the crowd, making her very favorable among the polls that were hoping she wins? I mean, you have 35 girls. I'm pretty sure someone came up with a strategic plan to get the power of the people on their side. I'm just saying. Now, they're all there that night and the night before they officially meet Maxon, but America understandably has a I guess you could say a panic attack because it's just like really overwhelming and the thoughts just already missing home. That's understandable. It's kind of relatable in a way. It's just situation and everything. And she tries to go out into the garden. The guards aren't letting her. But then she sees Prince Maxon and he uses his authority to let her in. And he's actually being nice. This guy, he hasn't really left the palace, so he's kind of sheltered. So this is going to be a whole new area for him. And he goes to check up on America. And at first I was like, girl, he just helped you out. But then it's kind of understandable with her having a panic attack. So it's like, okay. She kind of snaps at him. And by that, I mean, excuse me, dear, are you going to keep crying? He asked, sounding very put out by the thought. Don't call me that. I am no more dear to you than the 34 other strangers you have here in your cage. And then goes on to sing, it's ridiculous, I yelled, regaining some of my courage. What is? This contest. The whole thing. Haven't you ever loved anyone at all? Is this how you want to pick a wife? Are you really so shallow? Okay, you're sending blanks at the guy. It's still gonna hurt, but America, he did you a solid. And I can understand you being a little upset and everything, but let's take it down a little notch. She does feel a little regret and she tries to go apologize to him, I think the next day, and I think she does get that out, but it's like, let's take this down a notch. And we get America, we get how many times do you have to keep reminding us that you are yourself in this whole thing, that you don't want to be what everyone believes that you should be. You should just be yourself no matter what and not get all dolled up, dressed, trying to catch the person's attention because you want to be who you are inside. We get it. You're the rock in the pile of diamonds. Move on already. And so here comes I guess her name was like Sylvia. I really don't care. She's coming in and she is, what's she doing again? I think it was, what was it, princess lessons? Castor! Yes, Master? I gotta go do something. You take over from here on out. Master, you can't leave. And matter of fact, you can't leave with the crown jewels. You should see me in the crown. Okay, people, as you can see, my master bailed on us, and she's out there recollecting her sanity. So I guess I'm taking over now. Master, what else is there supposed to do? I wasn't paying attention for this whole book. Okay, yeah, we'll go with that. So I guess America found the time to talk with Maxon, apologize and everything, and they form a buddy alliance, which I have to say kind of makes sense. I mean, she suggests that they should just be friends, which is understandable because this relationship felt more like a friendship relationship, but she says that as long as she gets to stay here, she'll gather up the details on other girls and see who would make a perfect queen and relay it back to Maxon. Again, doesn't sound that bad of a plan. I mean, it's done before. It's kind of worked out. It's still a good plan. Only problem is Maxon doesn't know they are a subtlety, but then again, he's been in the palace with all his parents, guards, and maids his whole 16 years of life, and he front out asks America in front of all these girls, Maxon, you really need to know that teenage girls to a certain age, teenage to young women, girls can be very vicious amongst one another, and he point blank asks her, do you think your sister would really cry if she eats this sweet? And America's like, I would bet anything. And Maxon's like, okay, let's make a bet then. If your sister does not cry, then you get to walk the gardens with me. And if she does cry, and America's like, I get to wear pants. I mean, it's like, deal. First of all, America, you're about to get a deal with one of the, okay, third powerfulest person, because I'm assuming the queen has power, person in this country, and the thing that you asked for is pants. I'm pretty sure we could have done a little bit better, but hey, we're testing out the waters. Either way, her sister May does not cry, so she loses the deal. And hey, she has to walk around the grounds with Max, and oh dear, the horrible loss. Again, not much happens in this book, so it's a really long, tiring marathon to get through. But rebels attack to rebel, I think. And the royal family and the girls hide, which they're okay, the royal family is used to, but the girls are like freaking out, which is understandable. But America, you're being attacked by rebels, and your priority is to make sure Marley looks very appealing to Maxon, because Ashley's gone apparently, so are some other girls, 7 girls in total in one day. Oops. And you want Marley to look very princess-esque like. Y'all are being invaded, y'all are being sieged, y'all are being raided, and you want to make sure that she is presentable. Priorities. At this moment, we find out that there are more than one group of rebels. We have 2 groups, the Northerners and the Southerners, and honestly, they sound like they just come with the seasons, because Maxon gives us a very brief explanation that I guess would make sense, but just raises a whole lot more questions. I mean, because the Northerners, he said that the Northerners, they just basically come and raid and steal things, and they attack every once in a while and aren't as deadly. They don't leave any deadly people. So they just sound like a nomadic caravan that causes trouble in their wake but doesn't really cause any damage. And they routinely attack the palace, so I would think y'all already have procedures to prevent that. And then he tells us about the Southerners that attack once or twice a year, and they sound more like the Dothraki because they live carnage in their wake and they are more deadlier. And technically they're below the caste system, not even 8, so how do they even fit into this world? And we don't know why these people are attacking, because they always look like they're looking for something. And since we have no clue what they're looking for, I'm just like thinking maybe their main goal is to abolish the monarchy. I don't know. But from what I'm getting at, we need a freaking map, because Northerners, Southerners, East, West, rebels, I don't know. This country is very flawed in many, many ways. I don't know the laws. I don't know the policies. I don't know anything. I don't even have a freaking map. For all I know, this could be the freaking map. And I would be okay with it because, again, I will be taking out this country in a week and I need somewhere to go. So, map. Texas. I'm all for that. I can see why Master was starting to get a little crazy about reading this book. Maxon and America's friendship kind of builds. Again, Maxon is a decent character, that he was what's made this book a little tolerable. And because this guy has been sheltered his whole life, so he's trying to figure things out, especially with America as his wingman. And I think the guy reads too many spy novels because they decided to come up with a code to see when they need to interact with one another. And his is like, tug the ear and she'll tug it back. I'm like, dude, let's do what Lelouch did. Let's just pop the collar. Or America having, like, you know, tighten her glove or something less suspicious wise, because I'm pretty sure your parents would know what's going on. But, you know, they use this form of communication every now and again, and their friendship continues, I guess. Nothing more to say. And during one of these conversations, I guess she was talking about how, you know, him having to entertain all these girls must be very tiring. And he says, what does he say? Master, what did you put down here? He says something about when he's not with the girls, I guess she said that he's, organizing troops, something like that. Perfecting budgets? Making laws? Master? Having some organized troops. Perfecting budgets? Making laws? This kid is 16. And he's doing all this? Now I can see why Master said that she can take out this country in a week tops. And the one to blame is Max's father. Because he is irresponsible! His son. The Crown Prince is 16. And not only are you giving him the authority to do all this stuff, he has no training. The basic concepts of making sure that your successor is up for the job is certain basic steps. And Max's father isn't following any of that. I mean, okay, first of all, you have this whole freaking selection thing that would work if he was the 3rd or 4th prince. You're not going by what you would do with a crown prince. Okay, we get that. Just to make the world a better place in this story. But you know what? Crown princes, they are tutored by highly prestigious and highly recommended tutors, or they are sent overseas to go to certain schools to learn their basic fundamentals until they graduate from high school. Then you know what you do? You do send them overseas to a well-renowned university, more likely the UK, to study law and politics, because the universities there, I'm pretty sure many royals went there to learn. And when their education is finished, you put them in the military. So they understand how the military works and they have actually seen some action to get experience. I'm just saying, and when all of that is under the person's belt, you put them in a form of power and a political position so they can start getting their teeth in how everything works, and you have them sit in cabinet meetings there. And when all of that's still going on, you also have your crown prince, your heir, your successor to do international trips, to deal with diplomatic means and other things with international rulers. And then you have them marry the person that was arranged with, or someone of upstanding nobility or title, or who is respected in their study of area, at the age of 24 to 27. Oh, and wait, Master, and he is still looking for true love and a soulmate? Maxon, you are the crown prince, married for political reasons. But you know what? It's not his fault. It is his father's fault, because his father is irresponsible. He hasn't followed the fundamental basics of how to ensure the survival of your household and your heir for when you die or resign. And this kid, This kid is 16. He is 16 and he doesn't know how to run a proper country. Oh my God. The person who is responsible for this is his father. So if this country falls, it's because his father was irresponsible. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I've only taken over this review for how long? Oh my God. Master, get back here right now. Okay, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. Caster, are you okay? I need you to go. Master, you need to be responsible and finish your book review because I can't handle this right now. But Caster, I don't want you. Please, can you just finish this for me? I promise, pretty, please. I will make this up to you. Nope. This is your responsibility. And unlike this irresponsible king, take responsibility. But I don't want to. Here, take this stupid crown. Ugh. And she's gone. Much better. Okay, now that my caster is gone and trying to collect herself, let's just hurry up and get through this review and see if we can gather the remains of what's left of our minds. We get a brief mention of, you know, America's brother, who I do not care. Kota managed to become successful and everything, but I think he was just a plot device for her to meet more of Aspen and realize that, oh my God, I'm so in love. And she tells Maxon about this and he feels like, oh my God, I would not be able to forgive this guy who broke your heart for certain reasons and everything, even though Aspen was being reasonable and responsible. And we get some answers as to World War III. And okay, the only reason why it happened is because America couldn't pay its budget off to China, so it took over. Feels very, what's it called, Man in the High Castle. And because everyone at that time period was forming alliances, Russia tried to take over, but America fought back with the assistance of China after becoming like the American States of China and everything. And guess who led the charge? Gregory Ilya, of course, so the country's named after Ilya. And that's World War III. I'm pretty sure they mentioned World War IV, so what happened in 4, unless that was a typo and someone didn't catch that in the edit, I don't know, I'm just saying. And I'm sensing more censorship because Sylvia shook her head. Dear girls, history isn't something you study, it's something you should just know. Which is kind of weird. Marley turned to me and whispered, but clearly we don't. She smiled at her own joke and then focused again on Sylvia. I thought about that, how we all knew different things or had to guess at the truth. Why weren't we given history books? I remembered a few years ago when I went into Mom and Dad's room, since Mom said I could choose what I wanted to read for English. As I went through my options, I spotted a thick, ratty book in the back corner and pulled it out. It was a U.S. history book. Dad came in a few minutes later, saw what I was reading, and said it was okay, so long as I never told anyone about it. Red flag! When Dad asked me to keep a secret, I did so without a question, and I loved looking through all those pages. Well, the ones that were still legible. Lots had been torn out, and the edge of the book looked like it might have been burned, but that's where I saw a picture of the old White House and learned about why the way the holidays used to be. I never thought to question the lack of truth until it had been placed in front of me. Why did the king just let us guess? Red flag! Red flag! One affordable channel, and really no history books, and one that looked like it went through a fire? I'm sensing more censorship here, people. I'm just saying. And I really don't care about the other girls in this book because America's just been throwing names left and right. But while they're talking in the women's room, they're saying how Maxon just wants a wife, not another person whispering into his ears, possibly being a helpful advisor and keeping enemies at bay, that he just needs a wife. And Celeste enforces that every so much. And I'm thinking, obviously none of these girls know the history of Rome because I'm assuming that Rome exists in this world. But you know, there were some women that were very ambitious, very political, and knew what they needed to do to ensure the survival of the household that they married into. And y'all don't want to do any of that? Then good luck ensuring the survival of your future heirs and the nation, because you're gonna need it. Now, they're getting ready for this next event on live television, and Celeste liked America's dress so much that she wanted her to give it to her, but that didn't happen. So Celeste was tear sleeve, and America's like so devastated, but the girls help her. I'm like, girl, just rock the Princess Eye dress outfits and everything, and why am I helping you with this? I just want this to be over. Well, that day, America had a heart-to-heart conversation with Maxon, saying that, have you ever really truly been hungry, and what about the lower caste systems that they have to steal in order to survive? And he looks so shocked, so shook to his very core, because he never knew this was going to happen. And that morning they said, we have an announcement to give. And I'm like, this cannot be good. And so on live television, he makes an announcement to the country. It will be at least 3 months before we can set this up properly, but around the new year, there will be a public assistance for food in every province services office. Any 5, 6, 7, or 8 may go there any evening for a free nutritious meal. Please know that these women before you all sacrifice some or all of their compensation to help fund this important program. And while this assistance may not be able to last forever, we will keep it running as long as we can. Did he just do what I think he just did? Did Maxon single-handedly cripple this economy? The king wasn't excited about this. His mother was, but then you had the advisors like looking. And I'm like thinking, did he just cripple the economy by giving out all this free stuff? I mean, it's generous and everything, but we're talking about a 16-year-old that has no real experience on how to do this government. And if I'm also calling up again ancient Rome, but let's see. I believe that there's a person that took so much power that the senators thought that it would be a good idea to get rid of him. And there was a mass stabbing of said emperor. And I don't know. What's his name? I don't know. Julius Caesar? Something like that. Something that went to like et tu, Brute. Maxon. I think I see the path that you're walking on right now. But you know what? His mother approved, and he'll get the people to like him more. But people, this country needs money. And I think it just took a hit. So I think there may be problems in the real near future. And of course, Aspen's back like in the last 40 pages of the book, and he is a guard. And you know what? Almost like the day after he is revealed to be a guard there, they get attacked by the South because they really do some damage to the palace. And of course, some girls decide to leave. America decides to stay, especially with Aspen being there. This relationship that's back up again to form the triangle. I don't know how I feel about it now. Again, because Aspen, you had that one point. I'm taking away that point now because before the siege by the Southerners, Maxon and America had a fight, especially over Celeste, over something that she did, and Maxon wasn't really to believe her because he thought Celeste was a very good girl, and he's like saying, you forget who you speak to. Well, you've been speaking to her so informally since the moment y'all met, so of course she's gonna speak her mind to you. So they get into a tiff, and it feels like America's using a rebound with Aspen, and she accepts it, and Aspen's going to go with it. And I'm like, again, I'm back to I don't like this relationship. And we find out that Maxon decides to break some of the rules, and he axes all of the girls until there's only 6 left, leaving that for the elite. So round 2 for the girls that survived, of course, it's America and Marley. Interesting. And she is there with the supposed love of her life, Aspen, and Maxon, who apologized, and their friendship is slowly blooming into possibly a romantic thing. Oh my god. Oh my god. We reached the end of the book. And I don't care who America ends up with. Castor! What do you want, master? Prepare your bags. We're leaving in 10 minutes. And where are we going this time? We are going to a place where we can get away with a lot of killing because it's kind of the norm in the world, and we're going to go to vacation and once again a sovereign nation and just enjoy luxury there. And does this kind of have a time period or anything? Because that could be anywhere. It's more modern day, so still swords, but a little bit of gunfire. We leave in 5 minutes. And that's the end of my review, people. So before Castor leaves me alone in this dimension and not enjoy the thrills of what I seek to regain my composure and my lost sanity, the selection. Too many questions about how this world works because it does not make sense whatsoever. There's just rebels thrown in there with no apparent purpose goal. They're being mysterious, and there's two groups. I really don't see why. Nothing really happened in this book except America pining over the love of her life that broke things off for what sounded like a logical, reasonable reason, and believing that she's one of a kind, even though she says that she isn't. She's just like a normal girl. Maxon is tolerable. He is what makes this book very tolerable because he is very innocent. He hasn't experienced real life things, among other things, which again, I believe Castor brought up about his father being irresponsible and running this country. I don't see why there needs to be a love triangle in here, but you know, it was all the rage back then. And we're just down to 6 girls to become the elite, and there's another book after this and another in the continuation series, and I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. I really need this vacation. All in all, I was trying to see what the hype was about this book series. I did not see it. It tested me in every form, manner, and everything. And I barely came out unscathed. And it took me forever to read this thin thing. But it was the book that was able to get me to rant the most. So there is that one thing about it that might be a positive in all of this negativity. But either way, yeah, I read The Selection. The Selection by Kiera Cass. First book in the Selection series. 1 out of 5 stars. Castor, don't you dare leave me. My name is Sarah, and bye.